The galaxy had forgotten about humans. 1,000 years had passed since Earth went dark, wiped from star maps, erased from political records, and spoken of only in myths whispered among species who loved to mock old, primitive apes. The Galactic Council had long assumed that humanity died in its infancy, destroyed either by its own aggression or by some cosmic accident. No probes ever returned from Sol. No signals were detected. No ships emerged from the debris field that once was the human home system. To most of the galaxy, humans were a punchline. But the truth was far more dangerous. Far beyond the reach of familiar trade routes, behind layers of jamming fields and artificial nebulae, a massive construct drifted in the void. It was a ring-shaped fortress the size of a small moon, black metal, faintly glowing with blue lines. The structure slept like a predator waiting for the perfect moment to strike. This was the Arc Nexus, the last cradle of humanity. Inside it lived millions who had escaped the ancient apocalypse. The day the Council had unleashed the cleansing fleets upon Earth. Humanity had survived in secret, watching, building, evolving. And now, in the year 9400 Galactic Standard, everything was about to change. The story began with a lone alien vessel, the Valari scout ship Telesun, approaching the Forbidden Zone near ancient Sol. Its commander, Ziru Tal, had studied the legends of Earth since childhood. His species, like many others, believed humans were extinct, yet he felt a strange pull toward the quarantined region. His crew, however, felt only fear. "Commander," said his officer, a thin, pale creature with 4 reflective eyes, "our sensors detect anomalies. The radiation fields are artificial." Ziru's frills twitched. Artificial? For a dead world? Unless something still hides there. Silence filled the bridge. Most civilizations avoided the Sol system because of the ancient council warnings. Warnings that spoke of unpredictable human aggression. But Ziru never believed them. He wanted to uncover what truth lay beneath the layers of fear and propaganda. "Take us closer," he ordered. The ship glided through a metallic fog. Then suddenly alarms blared. Energy spike. Massive structure ahead. Through the viewport, the crew saw it, the enormous ring fortress drifting like a mechanical god. Ziru gasped. Impossible, what species could build this? Before anyone could answer, something ignited on the ring's surface. A bright, focused beam that scanned the Valari ship with surgical precision. "It's locking onto us," the officer cried. Then came a voice. A human voice. "Come, ancient. Unidentified ship. You have entered restricted human airspace. State purpose." The crew froze. Their hearts hammered. Humans did not exist. Humans were myths. Ziru swallowed hard. This must be a translation glitch? But the voice repeated, sharper this time. "State purpose or be neutralized." The Valari crew panicked. Claws scraped consoles. Tails stiffened. One officer tried to jump from his seat in fear. Ziru forced his voice steady. "We are explorers. We believe this system abandoned." The silence that followed felt like an eternity. Then the voice returned, no longer cold, now deadly. "Humanity has been watching you for 1,000 years. Live. Now." Before Ziru could respond, his screens filled with the image of a massive warship rising from behind the ring. It was shaped like an arrowhead with black armor that rippled like liquid metal. Its engines glowed with condensed starlight. The Valari had never seen anything like it. What is that?" whispered one of Ziru's officers. A single word flashed across their sensors. Titan class. A class unknown to the galaxy. The ship fired no weapons, but its mere presence felt like a threat carved into reality. The Valari vessel trembled under the gravitational wake. "Commander," said the officer, voice cracking, "if they fire, we will be vaporized." Ziru stood slowly. "Open all channels." The human voice waited. "This is Commander Ziru Tal of the Valari Union. If humanity yet lives, then the galaxy must know. We believed your species lost." Pause. Then for the first time they heard emotion in the human voice, bitterness. "Lost? No. We hid. And we remembered." The Titan-class ship deployed something, a probe or perhaps a warning beacon. It floated toward the Valari vessel silently. "You will leave with a message," the human voice said. The probe activated, projecting a hologram. A burning Earth, shattered cities, screaming civilians, and above them, alien fleets bearing council insignias. It was a vision of the old genocide. Ziru's breath stopped. "The council did this?" The human voice answered coldly. "They feared what we would become." The hologram shifted to show the Arc Nexus, growing over centuries, building ships, unlocking forbidden technology. "And now," the voice continued. We are ready. Before the Valari crew could speak, the Titan-class ship vanished in a burst of folded space, leaving behind only shockwaves and silence. The human voice gave its final warning. Tell your galaxy, humanity returns. Then the channel cut. Zero stood motionless, trembling. He knew the galaxy would not believe him. He also knew that when humanity truly returned, even stars would tremble. The Valari scout ship burst out of the Forbidden Soul region like prey fleeing a predator. Even outside the human jamming fields, the crew remained silent, shaken to their cores. The probe the humans had given them pulsed with an eerie blue light as if alive. None dared touch it for hours. Commander Zero Tal sat in his command chair, staring into the void. His mind replayed the human voice over and over. Tell your galaxy, humanity returns. He knew those words would ignite chaos across the political map. Yet he also knew the truth had to be revealed. Prepare the holo transmission, he said finally. We are sending everything to the Valari Council. The crew obeyed with trembling hands. Within minutes, encrypted streams shot into the astral network. Images of the Titan-class warship. Recordings of the human voice. Evidence of the Ring megafortress. And most damning of all, the holographic memory showing the ancient genocide carried out by the Galactic Council. It was the largest political shockwave in centuries. The Valari High Chamber, 18 hours later. The council chamber buzzed like a hive of frightened insects. Representatives from dozens of sectors filled the circular auditorium. Blue-skinned Valari nobles, crystalline Seraphon emissaries, insectoid Crixian delegates and more, all gathered to review the impossible report. When Zero entered, their voices exploded at him. Your findings must be falsified. No species could build a ring that large. Humans? A myth, nothing more. Captain, you claim their technology surpasses ours? By how much? Zero raised a hand, his voice calm but firm. By centuries. Possibly millennia. Gasps rippled through the chamber. A crystalline Seraphon ambassador flickered nervously. Commander Zero, you understand what you are accusing the Galactic Council of? Genocide, conspiracy, historical suppression. I understand everything, Zero said. I saw the images. A Valari noble slammed her fist on the table. Humans were primitives. They could not have survived the cleansing. Yet they did, Zero replied. And they have evolved far beyond anything we imagined. He activated the human probe. A hologram of Earth's last days filled the chamber. Burning cities, screaming civilians, orbital strikes. Several ambassadors turned away in horror. Others stared, not at the destruction but at the faces of the humans, defiant even as doom consumed them. Then the projection shifted to show the Arc Nexus. Its enormous ring frame dwarfed their largest battleships. Drone swarms rotated around it like a halo of machines. Finally, the Titan-class ship appeared, its black metal hull swallowing the light around it. A Crixian delegate hissed. What is this, monster? Zero inhaled. A human warship. Impossible, someone whispered. The human voice echoed through the chamber. State purpose or be neutralized. Every representative froze. The voice felt different, deeper, weighted with something ancient, something earned through suffering. It spoke to us, Zero said softly, with confidence, with control. They have been watching us, studying us, preparing. The Valari Chancellor stood slowly, her normally pale skin glowing with fear. What do they want, Commander? Zero hesitated. The entire chamber leaned forward. When he spoke, his voice was barely above a whisper. Revenge. And return. Silence swallowed the room. The council's collapse. 3 hours after Zero's testimony, the Valari Union broadcast his report galaxy-wide. They did so reluctantly, but secrecy was impossible. Too many had already learned. Too many feared what hiding the information would mean. The galaxy reacted in waves. Fear. Denial. Panic. Some species laughed it off, until they saw the images. Others accused the Valari of fabricating it to gain political leverage. But most felt dread. Because every species knew the same unspoken truth. The Galactic Council had lied about the cleansing. The official story said Earth had been annihilated by cosmic instability. But deep in old archives, records long hidden, there were hints that something darker happened. Now the truth was undeniable. The Galactic Council, the most powerful ruling body in the galaxy, had committed a genocide and buried it. And humanity had survived it. Galactic Council Central Citadel, the emergency session. The Council's throne room, a towering spire of white gold stone, was in chaos. Representatives shouted over each other. They cannot have survived. It is impossible. You fools. If that technology is real, our fleets cannot fight them. We must contact them immediately, apologize, offer reparations. Reparations? Do you think they want money? They'll want blood. Amid the shouting, High Consul Veril, a massive reptilian being, rose from his dais. We silenced the truth for 1,000 years, he growled. But the dead do not stay dead forever. His claws tapped the metal. We must locate their fleet. Before they move. A young council strategist trembled. But Consul, if they have remained hidden for a millennium, perhaps they have already moved. Veril snarled. Do not speak in riddles. What are you saying? The strategist swallowed. We are searching for their location, but we detect distortions across several border regions. Distortions. The strategist nodded shakily. Warp signatures. Unknown. Massive in scale. The chamber fell silent. A cold realization spread through the council. Humanity was not preparing to return. Humanity was already on the move. Meanwhile, in the dark beyond, the Arc Nexus pulsed with light. Human engineers walked its halls with calm purpose. Warship crews received final briefings. Sleeper fleets awakened. Titans stretched their wings. A single command echoed across the megastructure. Initiate Dawn Protocol. Lights across the Nexus shifted from blue to crimson. Engines roared. And humanity prepared to step back into a galaxy that once tried to erase them. The Arc Nexus vibrated with energy as the Dawn Protocol moved into its final stage. Across the colossal ring, billions of luminescent lines activated, feeding power into ancient reactors that had slept for centuries. Deep metallic thunder echoed through the structure, like a heartbeat awakening. Inside the central chamber, Admiral Mara Kestrel, Supreme Commander of the Human Exodus Fleet, stood before a hologram of the galaxy. Her face was calm, controlled, but her eyes burned with something the galaxy had nearly extinguished, a will sharpened by 1,000 years of injustice. Status of the Titans? She asked. Fully armed and awaiting deployment, a technician responded. Titan-class Helios, Goliath, and Erebus stand ready. Solaris is still conducting warp core stabilization. And the Valkyrie fleet? All squadrons online, Admiral. Mara nodded. It's time. A young officer approached, holding a data pad. Ma'am, the intel team's report the Valari broadcast has spread to nearly every major system. Panic, mobilization, and diplomatic outrage are escalating. Good, Mara said quietly. Let them talk. Let them fear. They have earned it. Behind her, the great human banner, black background with a silver phoenix, hung over the war room. Humanity had remade itself in exile. Not as victims. As predators. But even predators had rules. Mara tapped a command into her console, bringing up a new hologram, a massive star map divided by shifting borders. The Council will try to strike first, she said to her officers. They believe we are few. They believe we are outdated. They still believe the lies they taught themselves. She expanded the hologram. Red markers appeared across the Galactic Council's frontier. So we start where they least expect. The first target, Chiron Gate. Far across the galaxy, the Chiron sector bustled with commercial activity. Dozens of alien ships drifted around a neon-blue trade station. Merchants danced, traders argued, engines hummed. It was peaceful. Then the sky tore open. A spiral of white fire erupted above the station, twisting like a star being ripped apart. Warp storms surged, throwing smaller ships into chaos. What is happening? Unknown signature. No, multiple signatures. No, this is impossible. Onlookers watched in horror as a fleet of black ships emerged from the rift. They moved in perfect formation, silent, cold, predatory. Human ships. The first viewers gasped at their design. Sleek, angular, built for speed and brutality. They reflected no starlight, as if eating the darkness around them. At the center of the formation, a Titan-class warship arrived. The Erebus, its massive hull glowing with molten lines. The trade station hailed. This is the Chiron Gate Authority. Identify yourselves. A voice replied. Come. Measured. Human. Humanity. The station's lights flickered. Humans are extinct, the controller stammered. Incorrect, the human voice said. Without being asked, the Erebus released a small drone. It floated toward the station and projected a message visible to all ships. The galaxy must remember its sins. Then the hologram played. The cleansing of Earth. Billions burned. Council ships firing. A human child crying as the sky exploded. The aliens watching this scene went silent. Some cried. Some fell to their knees. Others shook with guilt. When the hologram ended, the human voice returned. The council told you we destroyed ourselves. They lied. The station commander whispered, "What do you want?" The Erebus responded with surgical precision. "We want truth." A bright beam shot from the Titan's core, not a weapon but a pulse wave, a shock of information. It uploaded a file to every ship, station and datapad within the sector. The truth about the genocide. The truth about the Council's betrayal. The truth about humanity's rebirth. Chiron Gate became the first system in history to receive the full, unedited human archives. Then the human fleet vanished, leaving as quickly as it came, without harming a single vessel. It was not an attack. It was a declaration. Meanwhile, Galactic Council War Room. High Consul Vero roared as the reports came in. They breached our borders without resistance. How? A strategist trembled. Consul, they used a warp-fold method we've never seen. They bypassed all gates. It's like they tore space itself open. Another officer added, and they made no demands, Consul. They just spread the cleansing evidence across the Chiron sector. Veryl's scales darkened in rage. So they want to turn the galaxy against us. A communications specialist shouted, "Incoming transmission from Chiron Gate Authority. They demand answers for the genocide." Another officer added, "Multiple allied species are calling for emergency hearings." And our borders? We detect more distortions. Several more. Veryl slammed his claws against the table. "Find the humans. Hunt them down." The strategist spoke quietly. "Sir, respectfully, we might be dealing with an enemy that knows our every move. They've been watching us for 1,000 years. Veryl snarled. "Then we will burn them again." The room went still. Every officer stared at him with horror. As if repeating the ancient atrocity had become instinct. As if the Council's guilt was deeper than anyone wanted to admit. The humans' next move. Back inside the Arc Nexus, Admiral Mara watched the galactic map. More systems were lighting up. Panic, unrest, revolt. "Begin Phase 2, she ordered. "What is Phase 2? A young officer asked. Mara smiled without joy. "We take back the systems that once belonged to Earth. And we make the galaxy choose a side." The holoscreen zoomed toward a region the Council had renamed centuries ago. Sol Vanguard Territory. Occupied human space. Mara whispered the ancient name. "Our home." Her fleet stood ready. Humanity was no longer returning quietly. Humanity was coming with fire. The stars near the Sol system seemed dimmer than they should be. Dust clouds hung over planets like forgotten memories. Space stations drifted silently, abandoned centuries ago, relics of a time when humans were thought extinct. But in truth, these systems were far from empty. The Galactic Council had quietly colonized what remained of human territory, renaming worlds and erasing all traces of humanity from history. Now, for the first time in a millennium, the humans were returning to their home. The Vanguard awakens. From the dark of hyperspace, the Arc Nexus and its supporting fleet emerged. Titans and Valkyrie-class frigates surrounded the outer planets, forming a black ring of warships. Their engines glimmered with contained starlight, and their silhouettes reflected centuries of human ingenuity. Admiral Mara Kestrel stood on the bridge of the flagship Helios, staring at the holographic map of Sol. "This was our cradle. They destroyed it," she whispered. Her eyes softened as she traced the image of Earth. "And they will pay, but not without justice first." Admiral, her tactical officer, Lieutenant Rin Vale, spoke cautiously. "Council patrols are scattered across the system. Most are unprepared for a fleet of this size. But some Titan-class ships are active in orbit." Mara's expression hardened. "Good. Let them realize their mistake. We do not strike blindly. Precision. Fear. Knowledge. That is our advantage." The first contact, Mars Orbital Station. On Mars, a heavily armed Council garrison buzzed with routine operations. Docking clamps released cargo vessels, and patrol frigates traced slow arcs around the red planet. Life went on, unaware of the storm about to descend. Suddenly, a signal erupted from the void. A human distress beacon, but it carried a different message. "This is the Arc Nexus. All Council ships in orbit of Mars are requested to stand down. Failure to comply will result in immediate neutralization." The station commander laughed nervously. "Humans? You mean Miss? Our sensors detect nothing, there is no fleet." Before he could finish, the sky tore open with a folded space breach. The fleet poured through, sleek, silent, and impossibly fast. Valkyrie squadrons flanked the Titan-class warships, forming a perfect diamond around the orbital station. The humans had not fired a shot. Yet the entire station shook as if in a quake. Lights flickered. Communication arrays hummed violently. Council officers ran frantic checks. Then came a calm, unwavering voice across every channel. You have occupied what was once human territory. Return it or face consequences. The commander stammered. We do not recognize. Recognition is irrelevant, the voice interrupted. The galaxy will know the truth. You are trespassing on land that was stolen with blood. A Titan-class ship extended a small probe toward the station. It attached silently, a cube of black metal no larger than a human hand. The cube pulsed with light, then projected images of the cleansing of Earth across every console in the station. The humans had not attacked. They had delivered history itself, unaltered, undeniable. Council panic. On the high citadel, High Consul Veryl's claws rapped violently against the control panels. Report. How did they breach Mars' orbit undetected? A strategist trembled. Sir. Their warp drive system, it does not resemble anything we know. They folded space, multiple vectors simultaneously. They could appear anywhere in our territory at will. Veryl's jaw tightened. They are rewriting the rules of war. Every border. Every defense. They are ghosts in our grids. Find them. Hunt them down. Sir, the strategist whispered, voice shaking, they are already inside Sol. We may have no time. Veryl's eyes blazed. Then we prepare for the fight, and pray the stars favor us. Human strategy, patience and precision. Inside the Arc Nexus, Mara oversaw the operation. The fleet had not fired yet, but the Council did not know it. Humans thrived in psychological warfare. Each system reclaimed, each station stunned, each transmission broadcasted. These were not attacks. They were warnings, reminders, and proof of humanity's mastery. Valkyrie squadrons maintain cloaking near asteroid belts, Mara commanded. Titan-class ships, positioned to orbit Lagrange points. Our main goal is psychological dominance, not destruction. Rin Vale frowned. Admiral, are we risking our secrecy? If we reveal ourselves fully, won't the Council retaliate? Mara smiled faintly. They already fear us. We are shadows in the dark, until the moment we strike. Then they will see the storm coming for every star they've touched. A young officer leaned over the console. Ma'am, we have live Council communications intercepted. They're discussing evacuation protocols for key systems. Mara's gaze hardened. Good. Let them realize what fear looks like. They thought humanity dead. They were wrong. Dead wrong. The shockwave of return. As the human fleet moved silently through the Sol system, news began to spread. Minor colonies, uninvolved species, and mercantile guilds began recording the impossibility. Humans were alive. Humans were powerful. Humans were returning. In mere hours, the perception of the galaxy began to shift. Fear rippled like shockwaves. Allies of the Council questioned their loyalty. Mercenaries reconsidered contracts. Traders abandoned routes near Sol. The myth of human extinction shattered in a heartbeat, leaving only one reality: the apex predator had returned. And yet Mara Kestrel waited. She did not strike Earth directly, nor destroy the Council fleets. She had a plan far more dangerous: to show the galaxy that humanity's true power lay not just in force, but in knowledge, strategy, and resilience. As the Arc Nexus hovered in orbit of Mars, the last human commander in the system whispered, almost reverently, "Let them see the ghosts they created, before we reclaim everything they stole." The Galactic Council had finally accepted the impossible. Humans were alive, hidden, and far more powerful than any species had imagined. But acceptance was not strategy. Panic drove their actions. Desperate and angry, the Council called for a full-scale mobilization. Every ship, every Titan-class battleship in their possession, every War Academy graduate was pressed into service. From the High Citadel, High Consul Veryl addressed the assembled admirals. His voice echoed through the colossal chamber. Humans have returned. They have shattered centuries of assumed superiority. They wield weapons beyond comprehension. Their fleets appear anywhere, strike silently, and vanish. They leave no room for negotiation. Therefore we shall crush them before they reach Sol's core. We shall remind them that no species survives unchallenged. A murmur spread across the room. Some delegates trembled. Others cursed under their breath. One Seraphon ambassador hissed, "You will awaken a force beyond reckoning." Varel bared his fangs. "Let them awaken. We are the Council. The galaxy obeys the Council." Council fleet in motion. In the void beyond Sol, Council Titans began to converge. Hundreds of warships moved in precise formations, their engines glowing with lethal intent. Drones and frigates orbited larger vessels, scanning for anomalies. Council officers projected confidence, but behind closed doors, fear gnawed at them. Their intelligence had intercepted fragments of human activity. Rumors of Arc Nexus-sized megastructures, stealth squadrons and Titan-class warships had spread like wildfire. Yet the Council still underestimated humanity, believing their technology was untested in true combat. High Consul Varel's personal warship, the Imperius, led the fleet. From its command bridge, he barked orders with ruthless precision. "Scan for the Arc Nexus. Find the human command fleet. Destroy them before they consolidate Sol's systems." A young lieutenant hesitated. "Sir, multiple spatial anomalies detected, approaching from different vectors, unknown energy signatures." Varel growled. "Then intercept them. We will strike first. We are the galaxy's apex authority." Human counter-strategy. Meanwhile, aboard the Arc Nexus, Admiral Mara Kestrel observed the Council fleet's movement on her holographic star map. The humans had not sought immediate confrontation. They had studied their enemies for centuries. Every pattern, every tactic, every weakness was known. "Council fleet approaching Sol from Vector Gamma and Delta," reported Lieutenant Rin Vale. "They believe we will respond with direct engagement." Mara's lips curved slightly. "Let them believe. Let them make the first mistake. Prepare the Valkyrie squadrons for cloaked positioning. Titan-class units ready for precision deployment. Phase 3 begins on my command." Her officers exchanged glances. Phase 3 was no simple battle. It was psychological warfare, combined with surgical strikes designed to dismantle the Council's morale before physical combat even began. First strike, the Phantom Assault. Without warning, small, almost invisible waves of Valkyrie fighters slipped past the Council fleet scanners. They darted between Titan-class hulls, deploying microprobes that disabled shields and navigation arrays. Council admirals shouted over alarms. "Intruders! Intercept! Fire!" But every volley of energy beams met nothing. The humans moved with precision, cloaked in space, orchestrated like a deadly ballet. Then the Titans emerged, black silhouettes against the stars. They did not fire immediately. Instead, each ship projected hollow messages across the Council fleet. Images of Earth before the cleansing. Archives of the genocide. Video of children, cities, and human survivors fleeing into the void. The Council ship's sensors recorded the truth. But the truth hit harder than any weapon. Officers hesitated, crews faltered. The moral weight of centuries of lies crashed upon them. Admiral Mara's calm voice cut through the comms. "The Council once sought to erase us. You cannot hide the past. You cannot erase justice. Stand down and perhaps your people may yet live. Resist, and every star in this system will tremble under the power you forced us to reclaim." The Council fleet wavered. Confusion reigned. Orders conflicted. Communication lines tangled. Shocking twist, Council betrayal. High Consul Varel realized the human strategy too late. He shouted for compliance, but divisions had already emerged. Several Council sectors refused to fire on their neighbors. Some ships retreated, unwilling to be complicit in the mass destruction the humans promised. Varel's fury turned to desperation. Launch full assault. Titan-class heavy guns. Target every human vessel. Before the weapons could fire, Mara executed a move no one expected. The Arc Nexus and its Titans simultaneously phased through multiple subspace folds, bypassing all Council targeting arrays. When they reappeared, the Imperius, Varel's flagship, was surrounded on all sides. The humans did not strike immediately. Instead, they deployed gravity nets, disabling engines, cutting off power, and trapping the flagship in a silent, invisible cage. Varel's roar of fury echoed across the void. "Impossible. How do they?" Mara's voice, calm and commanding, replied. "We watched. We learned. And now, Consul, you feel the weight of the stars you once controlled." The Council fleet was fractured, leadership paralyzed. Humanity had not fired a single destructive shot, yet they controlled the battlefield completely. Psychological victory. Across Sol's frontier, word of the human return spread like wildfire. Colonies began to question loyalty to the Council. Some surrendered to humans without a fight, Others prepared to defend their own homes in solidarity. The galaxy began to realize that humans were not merely returning, they were rewriting the rules of power. Admiral Mara's final words before the next phase. Let them see the humans they tried to erase. Let them learn that extinction is a choice only the galaxy itself may face. Today we remind them who truly belongs in the stars. The Arc Nexus hummed. Lights turned from blue to deep crimson. The humans were ready for the next phase, the reclamation of Earth itself. The Sol system loomed before the Arc Nexus like a scarred memory. The planets were eerily quiet, orbiting in their old paths. Dust storms swirled over Mars, oceans on Earth were poisoned remnants of what once teemed with life, and the pale blue dot that had been humanity's cradle appeared fragile and vulnerable from orbit. But the humans had long ceased to view it as fragile. They saw opportunity, strategy, and the promise of vengeance, the chance to reclaim the cradle of their species. Admiral Mara Kestrel stood before the massive tactical hologram, the system glowing in crimson markers, council stations, patrol routes, and orbital weapons arrays. Phase 4 begins, Mara said, her voice calm but resolute. The council has fractured. Their fleets hesitate. Their colonies tremble. It is time to bring humanity home. Lieutenant Rin Vale hesitated. Admiral, Earth itself has been sterilized. Reclaiming it won't be simple. There's radiation, destabilized orbits, rogue council drones. Mara's gaze sharpened. We are not here to restore what they took from us. We are here to claim what they feared we would become. The approach. From the dark void, Valkyrie squadrons slipped silently past orbital defenses. Titan-class warships followed, cloaked within asteroid fields, ready to strike or to vanish at a moment's notice. Council satellites detected the fleet, but misjudged its scale. The humans had allowed some detection intentionally. Fear, after all, was as powerful a weapon as any pulse cannon. A council commander reported frantically, Admiral, multiple anomalies across Earth orbit. Dozens of ships. No, hundreds. How can this be? They are hiding in the shadows. High Consul Vero growled. They are ghosts. Intercept at all costs. But the humans did not attack yet. They orchestrated precision chaos. Valkyrie drones scrambled communications, disrupted targeting systems, and manipulated orbital sensors. Council defenses misfired, energy grids overloaded, and ships collided in confusion. The human fleet remained nearly invisible, moving as one organism, anticipating every council maneuver. Landing the Titans. Admiral Mara activated the Arc Nexus's deployment bays. The massive Titan-class warships lowered into orbital insertion paths, unfurling assault elevators and deploying armored garrisons. For the first time, Council forces saw the humans as physical threats. Black-clad soldiers moved in orbital drop pods, landing on the barren surface of Earth. They were silent, efficient, and fully equipped with technology capable of repurposing any Council asset against its creators. Mara addressed the fleet. Do not fire unless necessary. Our goal is reclamation, not needless destruction. Let the galaxy see that humans rise from their ashes with purpose, not blind rage. Council orbital defenses opened fire. Titan-class shields absorbed barrages effortlessly. Valkyrie fighters weaved through energy beams, striking automated turrets and command satellites with surgical precision. Council command fractures. High Consul Vero's communications link was flooded with reports of failure. Colonies surrendered. Fleets abandoned their posts. Even his most loyal admirals hesitated to engage, seeing their forces dismantled without humans ever directly landing a shot. They are too coordinated, too precise, a terrified commander muttered. Vero's claws struck the console. They are humans? Impossible. How can one species be so perfect? Another officer, panicked, said, Sir, the Titan-class units, they've taken orbital control of Earth's old moon bases. They are using them as staging points. If they consolidate, we may lose Sol entirely. Vero's eyes blazed red. Then we strike now. Full-scale assault. Burn the human fleet. Before he could act, Mara's voice cut across the void in a calm broadcast. Strike if you wish, Consul. But know this, every ship you lose today is a lesson in hubris. Every colony you fail to defend is proof of your arrogance. Humanity remembers. Humanity endures. Humanity prevails. The turning point. Council Titans hesitated. Many had seen the effects of human tactics already. Orbital stations neutralized without destruction, fleets immobilized without loss of life, colonies pacified without violence. A mix of awe and terror spread through their ranks. On Earth, human ground forces activated terraforming drones and reconstruction units. They did not aim to restore the old world but to reclaim it for humanity's future, building fortifications, energy grids, and orbital arrays faster than the Council could respond. The Imperius High Consul Veral's flagship now faced multiple Titan-class ships surrounding it in a precise formation. Gravity nets, microwarp inhibitors, and electromagnetic pulses immobilized it completely. Veral realized his mistake too late. The humans had studied his tactics, anticipated his every move, and set traps centuries in advance. A single human voice echoed across comm channels. This was your system. These were your rules. You broke them. Humanity restores balance. The Imperius shook violently as power grids collapsed, and Veral's fleet began a desperate retreat. Victory without massacre. By the end of the day, Earth's surface, though scarred, was fully under human control. Council forces were fractured, fleets demoralized, and colonies reconsidered loyalty. Humanity had reclaimed its cradle without massive slaughter, except where absolutely necessary to neutralize threats. Admiral Mara looked over the reconstructed command center on the moon. Through the viewport, Earth rose in all its battered glory. She turned to her officers. Today humanity returns. Not as victims, not as myths, but as masters of our destiny. The galaxy has seen what we are capable of. Let them remember it. Rin Vale smiled grimly. And what now, Admiral? Mara's eyes glinted like the stars themselves. Now, we remind them why even stars tremble when humanity returns. The galaxy held its breath. Word of humanity's reclamation of soul spread like wildfire through every star system, every colony, and every council chamber. The Galactic Council, once seen as the unchallengeable authority of the cosmos, now teetered on the brink of collapse. Their fleets were shattered, their colonies reconsidering allegiance, and their influence crumbling before the quiet, deliberate power of humanity. Yet Admiral Mara Kestrel knew the greatest battle was not fleets or stations, it was the galaxy's perception. Humanity had returned, but they needed the galaxy to understand who they truly were. The Council's last stand. High Consul Veral refused to surrender. His forces, diminished but still formidable, gathered near the Orion Rift, hoping to regroup and strike at the humans' rear. Even now, he roared to his trembling admirals, we can crush them. One final strike. Humanity will kneel. But the humans had anticipated this. Sensor grids, deployed silently across every system the Council controlled, tracked their every movement. Valkyrie squadrons slipped through dark matter corridors, arriving in the rear of the Council fleet before Veral even realized they were engaged. Titan-class warships flanked the enemy, weapons primed but not yet fired. Gravity nets, energy scramblers, and electromagnetic pulses immobilized every vessel in their path. Veral's roar of fury was swallowed by the void. He realized the truth too late. The humans had mastered not just technology but the battlefield itself. Every move, every calculation had been predicted. The Human Declaration. From the Arc Nexus, Mara addressed the Council fleet through every comm channel, crystal clear and unwavering. High Consul Veral, you tried to erase humanity. You tried to rewrite history. You silenced billions and believed we would vanish. You were wrong. We survived. We endured. And now we reclaim what is ours. Her voice carried across light years, calm and cold. The Council is not above the galaxy. It is a servant of its systems. Today the galaxy chooses. Humanity returns not for vengeance alone, but to remind every star, every world, and every species that power belongs to those who endure, who adapt, and who rise beyond fear. The Council fleet faltered. Colonies cut ties. Commanders refused to fire. Even Veral's own advisors urged surrender. The final engagement. The humans moved with surgical precision. Valkyrie squadrons disabled targeting arrays. Titan-class warships immobilized dreadnoughts without firing lethal ordnance. The Imperius, Veral's flagship, was surrounded on all sides. Finally Mara gave the order. Phase 5, Resolution. Massive energy pulses enveloped the Council vessels. Systems were neutralized. Weapons rendered inert. Communications jammed, leaving only silence and the realization of defeat. Veral screamed into the void, "This is not the end. Humanity will fall." Mara's response was simple. "No. Humanity rises." The Imperius drifted silently, powerless, a monument to the arrogance that had once tried to destroy an entire species. Humanity ascended. With the Council fleet neutralized, humanity moved to secure colonies, restore trade routes under their protection, and establish contact with alien species willing to acknowledge the truth. But Mara's goal was not domination. It was respect, balance, and ensuring that the galaxy would never again underestimate humans. On Earth, reconstruction began. Terraforming drones and human engineers worked tirelessly to restore ecosystems, but also to create fortified systems capable of defending against any future threat. Humanity had survived exile, and now they were building a galaxy where extinction was no longer a threat to them. The Arc Nexus became a beacon in the void, a symbol of human resilience and intelligence. Titan-class warships patrolled newly liberated space, Valkyrie squadrons darted like shadows among the stars, and humanity's presence was both reassuring and terrifying to allies and enemies alike. A new galactic order. Diplomats from dozens of species approached Mara, seeking alliances, trade, and counsel. Many had once mocked humans as weak and primitive. Now they bowed, not out of fear alone, but respect for a species that had endured annihilation and returned stronger than anyone could imagine. The remnants of the Galactic Council were brought to parley. Varel and his surviving counselors were stripped of power. They had underestimated humans, and the consequences were clear. No longer could any being dictate history through deceit and fear. Mara addressed the galaxy one final time. We are human. We endure. We adapt. We fight when necessary. And we will never be erased again. Let every species, every world, and every star remember, humanity returns, and even the stars tremble in our presence. The final scene. In orbit around a newly reborn Earth, Mara watched the sun rise, the pale light reflecting across oceans and mountains scarred by centuries of neglect. Valkyrie squadrons darted overhead, Titans stood sentinel, and Arc Nexus glimmered like a silent guardian. Beside her, Rin Vale spoke softly, "We've won, Admiral. The galaxy knows who we are." Mara smiled, a rare warmth in her eyes. "No, Rin. They've only seen the beginning. Humanity is not done. The stars, they are ours now. And they will never forget it." A pulse of energy radiated from the Arc Nexus, stretching across the Sol system. The stars themselves seemed to shimmer as if in awe, or perhaps fear, of the species that had returned from extinction to reclaim its destiny. Humanity had returned. And now even stars trembled,